The reason most of us are investing in Bionano Genomics is because we want to make massive profit, and also we would love to see the company saving lives. So in this video, I want to share with you guys how Bionano Genomics is going to make more money and how they are already saving lives. So please stay with me till the end, because I also have a breaking news to share with you guys in this video. Let's get to it. Now, please do me a favor and go to google.com and type in SIDS. Okay, this is sudden infant death syndrome. This is killing infants. Now, Bionano Genomics has been adopted by Boston Children's Hospital because they want to figure out what is causing SIDS. And this is an amazing news for most of us that are invested in this company, because we want to save lives. Now, before we continue, I quickly want to say thank you for those of you supporting me on this channel. Okay, if you click on thanks on any of my videos, you can easily donate as little as $2 US, $5 US, $10 US, and as high as $50 US. Thank you so much. Let's continue. Now, for those of you wondering what the meaning of SIDS is, this is sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, and this is the sudden and unexplained death of a baby younger than 1 year old. Okay, a diagnosis of SIDS is made if the baby's death remains unexplained even after a death scene investigation, an autopsy, and a review of the clinical history. Bionano Genomics has just been adopted by Boston Children's Hospital to help them in the research of SIDS, and this is massive news. Now, why is this a massive news? If you take a look at this, Boston Children's Hospital is also a world leader in SIDS research, investigating the key questions about this mysterious syndrome. Now, if you go to ilkalert.com, you can easily see a press release, a news release that says chromosomal testing expands options for exploring causes of SIDS. Okay, this is something that is very horrible. Now, if you go down, you can see that the team hopes their findings will encourage medical examiners investigating SIDS death to reach out to them for assistance. Okay, the team at Boston Children's Hospital are taking this to another level, and the good news is they have adopted the Sapphire device, Bionano Genomics. If you take a look at this right here, it says adding to exome sequencing and chromosomal abnormalities on CMA, the researchers recently got a grant from the American SIDS Institute to study more complex structural changes in chromosomes that might contribute to SIDS and SUDC using an advanced genomics platform called the Bionano Sapphire to image extremely long strands of DNA. The scientific director says this, okay, he said, I quote, "This technique gives us the ability to find structural variations that are too big for traditional DNA sequencing to pick up, but too small for chromosomal microarray to detect." Okay, we can also pick up instances when a segment of DNA flips to a different location on the chromosome. Bionano Genomics is saving lives, guys. Now, this has nothing to do with Bionano Genomics, but this is making the wave right now. You guys can see Binance just announced that they are going to be buying FTX, and that's one of the reasons why the market is going crazy today. Okay, Bitcoin is down, you know. All right, guys, so let's talk about the finance of Bionano Genomics, because last week we saw the third quarter earnings report and it was massive. Okay, and I already shared my opinion with most of you guys that have been asking me, Dayo, what is your opinion on this result? Okay, for the first time since almost 1 year, Bionano Genomics, I believe more than 1 year, Bionano Genomics met analyst estimate. The earnings per share that was expected was -11 cents, and Bionano Genomics reported -11 cents for the first time in 5 quarters. Okay, because 4 consecutive quarters Bionano Genomics has been missing the EPS. And one thing that I noticed is that if you take a look at this trend right here, you can see Bionano Genomics was expected to report -6 cents, they reported -8, and then this trend was going down. Okay, you guys can easily tell, you know, they expected them again to report -7, they reported -11, and then they were expected to report -9, they reported -11, and then it keeps going down. But for the first time they met it, okay, it seems minus 11 is the bottom of Bionano Genomics EPS missing. Okay, now right now for the fourth quarter of 2022, analysts has increased it to minus 10 cents, and it means they are adding about a cent. So let's see if Bionano Genomics is going to meet that as well. Okay, if they meet it, it will keep increasing, in my opinion. I mean, that is just how this analyst work. So for the first time in 5 quarters, Bionano Genomics has met the analyst estimate, earnings per share estimate. Now right now the shares of BNGO is up just about 2%. I mean, the market is not really, positive right now. I believe this FTX problem is driving the market crazy right now. You guys can see Nasdaq is even positive, Dow is positive, S&P 500 is also positive, but some stocks are still deep in red right now. So now, as an update to the earnings report that happened last week Thursday, I want to quickly share some important news with you guys. If you take a look at the Bionano Genomics total revenue growth quarter by quarter, like I already shared with you guys in my video before the earnings, I told you guys I believe BNGO is going to report a record-breaking quarter once again. You guys can easily see the trend. Okay, this is an incremental trend. Okay, we are increasing the total revenue that BNGO is bringing in, is breaking the record, almost quarter after quarter. Okay, for the third quarter of this year, they reported $7.2 million, which is higher than $6.7 million that they reported during the second quarter. And don't forget, second quarter was also a record breaking. But the thing is, fourth quarter is always the massive record breaking quarter. So I wouldn't be surprised if BNGO reports close to $9 million in the fourth quarter of this year, because last year they reported a massive, look at that, $6.3 million compared to $4.7 million, almost $2 million difference. So in this quarter, I expect them to report almost $2 million difference, or even $3 million, because this is 2022 and they have been performing amazingly. Now if you quickly take a look at this, okay, this is the expenses. Okay, Bionano Genomics spent $34 million in the third quarter of this year. In the second quarter, they spent $33.6 million. So you guys can see it's not really massive. Okay, this, in my opinion, is also a good news. And the best news so far is that BNGO, they reported flow sales. Okay, they broke the record of the flow sales. During the third quarter of 2021, they reported 3,969, but third quarter of 2022, okay, they reported 3,975, which of course is a little bit higher than what they reported in the third quarter of last year. And the good news is that I'm still going to share that with you guys in the next page. Let me hold on with that for now. Now if you go down right here, you can see that BNGO also, they have $180 million in cash. Okay, this is an amazing news. They have just more or less shifted the dilution of shares, or however you want to put it, because most of us were calculating that $187 million they are going to run out of this money in the next perhaps 12 months or even 16 months. But right now, Bionano Genomics has strategically raised fund at the market. Okay, they raised about 20 something million dollars, which has helped them to cover the expenses of the third quarter. I believe that is of course why we saw Bionano Genomics massive sell off after that rally towards $4.5, just about 2 months ago. I believe that is one of the reasons why Bionano Genomics sold off heavily. So that is of course one of the reasons why you guys have to be members of the channel, because if I spot anything, if we see any rally, I'm gonna be informing you guys of what you should be expecting, because in this market anything can happen all of a sudden. Now this is a good news increment. We saw some incremental in flow sales. They sold more flow sales than before, which of course means they are finally broken all this supply chain problem that they were having. They were having problems with the supplier. That is of course why the flow sales has been more or less horrible. But let's see what's going to happen in Q4. Maybe they are going to report for the first time more than 4,000 flow sales sold in fourth quarter. Now revenue is also green. GAAP operating expenses is not bad, but since it is higher than what they reported in the second quarter, that's of course why I used a red background. And if you take a look at this, non-GAAP operating expenses is more or less the same thing. So this of course is a good thing in my opinion. We want to see the expenses is either we see it going down, okay, while the total revenue keeps increasing,
or it stabilizes. Okay, if the expenses stays at the same level, okay, then it's a wonderful news. We don't want to see 40 million, 50 million US dollars per quarter if they have just 180 million US dollars in the bank. All right, guys, so this right here is a news from Zacks. Okay, Bionano Genomics Inc. report Q3 loss tops revenue estimate. So according to Zach, Bionano Genomics beat their estimate. Okay, because if you take a look at this, Bionano Genomics came out with a quarterly loss of 11 cents per share versus the Zach's consensus estimate of a loss of 12 cents. So they were expecting BNGO to report minus 12 cents, but BNGO reported minus 11 cents. So it means they beat Zach consensus estimate, which of course is a wonderful news. Okay, now Bionano Genomics this quarter report represents an earnings surprise of 8.3%. okay. All right, guys, shout out to all the channel members for supporting me on this channel. So this technical analysis is sponsored, of course, by the channel members. Now if you go to Bionano Genomics on technical analysis, the price action, I quickly want to show you guys what is presently going on with BNGO. You guys can already tell there is a massive consolidation presently happening with Bionano Genomics. You guys can see right here since October, okay, when we saw that 1.8 US dollars, we have been consolidating more or less on, you know, uptrend. Now if you draw your line, you can easily tell that this is an uptrend. Okay, I mean, let's see when this is going to be over. You guys can see this is an uptrend. Okay, if you want to take into account from how we came down massively, then this uptrend, you could also predict that, you know, we are still going to retest this 1.7 US dollars, but I don't think that is going to happen, because if you zoom a little bit, you can tell, like I have been sharing with you guys, you can see that this is more or less an head and shoulder pattern. Okay, I expect us to keep, you know, consolidating, and then once we get out of this zone, okay, this zone right here, okay, you guys can see this on zone, if we get out of this zone, you should expect a parabolic rally. Okay, that's what I am expecting for BNGO. Like I have been sharing with you guys, this is more or less a uptrend still building. Okay, how long it's going to continue to build, nobody knows. Maybe perhaps when the Feds, okay, come out again and announce the next interest rate hike, or maybe if CPI data comes in and it is, you know, more or less better than expected. Okay, I believe CPI data is going to be reported in 2 days, and they are expecting about 7.9%. hopefully it's going to come down, you know, or at least come to 7.9%. the last time it was reported, it was around 8.2% or so. So hopefully CPI data is going to, you know, come in below 8% at 7.9% or even lower. That is going to help the stock market rally to continue. If not, if the CPI data comes in, you know, bad or worse than expected, then you should expect BNGO to come down a little bit. Once again, get out of this channel, come down, and then start to build up once again.